Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today. I'm really excited to be sharing with you one of my favorite add-ons that Western Computer has developed, the Container Import product. So for today's agenda, we're going to show you how to apply landed costs such as customs and duty charges to the containers. The very last step is creating invoices for adding any expenses that are related to the container and the items themselves. So you may be familiar with this process if you're familiar with Business Central and the use of item charges and purchase invoices for creating that. But I want to show you a couple fields that we've added to simplify the selection of the lines that need to be allocated. So let's take a look at that. I'm going to go ahead in this case and go to a purchase invoice, and we'll create a quick invoice here so that we can add those charges. I'm going to go ahead and choose my vendor, and I'm going to actually have two different charges here. I'm going to do a charge for customs and a charge for duty that's on the invoice. Let's say this is, so when we go to the allocation for customs and we go to item charge assignment, when we select our receipt lines that we want to allocate against, instead of doing this by purchase receipt, because in this case you have two POs that were in the container and therefore there were multiple receipts, we can actually take a look at the transfer order document number or the container number and select it by that. Since this will easily sort for me by the last container that's been posted, I'm going to go ahead and just click on the sort to show you that this is the container we were just working with, and these are the lines that we just posted. So I want to go ahead and allocate these custom charges to all of these lines. So I'll go ahead and select them and click OK, and they're now populated into this screen. So I have $250 to allocate to these lines. We have the option to choose how we want to allocate, either equally per line, by the dollar amount of each item, by the weight, or by the volume. I'm going to go ahead and select amount, and when I do that, it goes ahead and allocates the dollar amount to each of these lines, to each of the items, and there's nothing left to assign at this point. I'm going to go ahead and do the same for duty. I'm going to go in and select my lines to allocate. And I'll go ahead and do the same thing and assign it by amount. Once that's done, I put in a vendor invoice number. I'm just going to use today's date, and I'll go ahead and post this. What I want to take a look at now is the results of the cost on that. So I'm going to bring up that container, and I'm going to go ahead and navigate to that first item again that we've been taking a look at, and look at the ledger entries that have been created. So what you will see now is that the initial receipt now has a cost, and this cost is based on the charges that were just applied to it. So you've got the 118 and the 237 along with the 74,000 that was expected. Because we haven't invoiced the PO yet, we don't have an actual cost here for the invoice. If I were to do that, it would move this over to the actual. But we do also see that the cost gets allocated, this $355 also got allocated to the individual ledger entry. So if we're looking at this remaining quantity, we have the cost of the inventory from that PO plus the added cost for the custom duty and freight. And again, if you were to go through the standard BC process, posting your invoice with the correct costs and running your adjust cost entries, all of this will update if there were any changes to the cost at the time of invoicing itself.